Kyle McAfee is a 31-year-old American human. He has been performing, writing, filmmaking, and bookselling for the past 15 years. Maybe he sold you a book at Fact and Fiction or the Book Exchange. Mostly in Missoula, with the exception of a short stint in Portland and a slightly shorter stint in Brooklyn. Wonder if he knows Baccio or Mario. Dude is also a rapper and a comic book artist, but sometimes too humble to admit it. Please welcome Kyle McAfee.
All right. Great turnout. Almost too many people. If most of you could leave, that would be good to make this a little less intimidating. So, it's 2009, and I've moved to Portland with my band and my friends, and I can't get a job. And I'm probably on my 8th interview in a month and a half, and my big break finally is a trial shift at a salon as a receptionist. So, and the way I have to answer the phone is, "Hey, beautiful. Thanks for calling Salon Celeste. How can I make your day wonderful?" So, I haven't gotten the job yet. This is just to see if I'll get the job. So I answer the phone, "Hey, beautiful." I mean, I gave it a little more energy than that, but "Hey, beautiful, thanks for calling Salon Celeste. How can I make your day wonderful?" And the voice on the other end goes, "I'm just trying to find an appointment for my wife." I was like, "Right on, beautiful." But I didn't get that job. And so in the house that I was renting with my bandmates and my friends, there was a studio in the back that this man named Jack rented for his art studio for ceramics. And Jack had mentioned that he did landscaping to make money, and he offered me to do this job with him. And so I agreed to that because I was super desperate. And Jack was nice, but Jack was like this perpetual curmudgeon that wore all denim, and he had like this just shock of gray hair and these huge blue eyes that took up about half of his face. And was always smoking a cigarette and created the most amazing ceramic stuff I had really seen in a long time. And so I did this job with him, and we had to drive 45 minutes to Longview, Washington from Portland. And it became clear pretty quick that the reason Jack wanted me to do the job was not because of my landscaping experience, which was zero, was to drive for him because he had had his license permanently revoked due to some drinking. And some other things became clear about Jack. He was a former junkie. He had spent some time in prison. And he was pissed off at the world, just pissed. And pissed that he had to do landscaping work to make his artwork. And this job in particular really pissed him off because this guy that we worked for was a doctor and was so meticulous with measurements, and Jack was not. So they kind of butted heads in this horrible passive-aggressive way, and we built this huge patio. It was really beautiful, actually, and we hauled in all this rock, and one of the only times I saw Jack kind of light up was when he got to contribute like a really beautiful piece of his to the job, which was these ceramic masks that were sconces on this kind of outdoor structure, and he kind of was so proud to present them, but at the same time he was like, "But I'm giving them to these fucking people, who don't understand and who only care that it's like 5 inches below the beam, and not what it looks like." And so on that level, Jack and I kind of related because I would like to think of myself as an artist, I guess. And, he was this artist that was existing in his early 50s. And almost over these months of the job, he kind of became this weird, like quasi-uncle figure, or father figure, because he was kind of right around that age. And it was this bizarro look into what it would be like to have someone who would completely, obviously non-traditional as a human being, as kind of a dad figure. And the reality was pretty bleak, because he was just angry all the time. And so I was wary of him, but we had this bond. And I think the only other time I saw him kind of light up was when I showed him some of my art and this animation I had been working on, and he was actually like proud of it. And it was kind of cool, like an older artist recognizing me. And so we had something, but after 3 months of working together, I was ready to be done. So after we finished the whole job, we go out on this kind of epic Jack tour of Portland, Oregon, which the first place we went was this really upscale bar, and Jack wanted a purple drink that smelled like lavender. And we sit down, and he just like looks around, and he's like, "These people don't fucking know. I could be someone important." And I was like, "Okay." And then he proceeded to find something negative about every single place he was taking me to as like the prime spots in Portland. Like we would go to a jazz bar, and I would kind of get into it, and Jack would be like, "It's only good on Thursdays." And then we went to a blues bar, and Jack was like, "They don't have their regular bass player with them, so they suck tonight." And the night went on, and Jack ended up giving $100 to a homeless girl. And there was this other homeless guy like pushing his shopping carts across the road, and Jack was super drunk and was like, I'll help you do that," and grabbed the shopping carts and just kind of ran them across the street. And the homeless guy was like, "That's okay. You don't need to do that." But Jack sliced his hand like really bad on one of the shopping carts. And he's like, oh fuck, we gotta take care of this because I have Hep C. And which he'd contracted, I think, shooting up, and he was bleeding profusely because he was really drunk, and I was pretty drunk too. And we go back into the jazz club because he's like, "They know me here," and we cleaned it up and wrapped it in paper towels, and we finally make it back to Jack's apartment at the end of the night, and I'm like so ready to be done with the whole Jack experience. But he wants to sit there and listen to Steely Dan like cranked and just chain smoke and like, "I have more beer." And I'm like, okay. And so, but then he notices on the message machine there's a message, so he turns down the music and he presses play, and it's from the guy that we did the job for, and he's like, "Hey Jack, I'm sorry to bother you, but it looks like the measurement on the sconces was a little bit off, so I'm gonna have to have you come back up here." And Jack just gets so furious, and he like picks up a book and slams it against the wall, and he storms out of the room, and he's just like, "Fucking Aris," which was the guy's name. He's just screaming about it, and he kind of takes a couple minutes and he calms down. He comes back in, and he's just like, "Sorry about that, Kyle." And I'm like, "Yeah, Mr. Grumpy Pants." And there's like a beat where he stares at me, and I'm totally terrified. And he's just like, "I'm not Mr. Grumpy Pants." So that's my story about Jack. Thank you.